Well, Donald Trump has been shrugging off polls that have him trailing Hillary Clinton.
Having a tremendous problem in Utah. Now, Utah's a different place. But is anybody here from Utah? I mean, I didn't think so. Pennsylvania's a little further off, but I think we're going to win Pennsylvania because the miners, she wants the miners out of business. She wants steel out of business.
So is Trump seeing something in the polls that the rest of us are not? And what is the state of play in this race for real? Joining us now with the answer, Cliff Young, he's president of Ipsos Public Affairs, Emily Ekins, she's director of polling at the Cato Institute, and Dr. John Johnson, a polling expert and author of Every Data. It's great to see you all. So first to you, John. What is the state of play, and what should we be looking at? We're bombarded by polls. What's the poll the average person ought to be looking at to see where the race really is?
Well, right now, Hillary Clinton is ahead. The averages are about 8.5 points, depending. If you're a little bit careful about some of the outlier polls that are driving the average, there's been a long narrative about state polls now coming out. A lot of the key states are all tilting towards Hillary Clinton, so right now it's safe to say Hillary Clinton is in the lead, but it is still early and events could intervene.
So here's, Emily, one of the most recent polls. I don't know if it's an outlier or not. It's a Rasmussen poll, and it's a national one, head-to-head, 43 Clinton, 40 Trump. That's within 3 points. I think it's the margin of error. Is that where the race really is?
I don't think it is. I think that what you really want to do is average a couple of polls together, look at the entire week worth of polls rather than just one poll.
Right.
And when you do that, the average is actually around 6 to 7 points with Hillary Clinton in the lead. Also, if you look at the battleground states, Hillary Clinton is leading in almost all of them, and states that shouldn't be in play, like Arizona and Georgia, are. So
historically, polls taken in mid to late August, are they predictive of the final result?
Well, they're saying something. They're indicative. They're indicative about the relative performance. And obviously, Donald Trump had a really bad 2 weeks.
Yes.
Now, they really firm up after the debates. And, you know, I bet my farm 2 weeks out. That's when they're really robust. But they're saying something today.
Okay, so 2 weeks out before the election.
Yes.
So has there ever been an election in modern history where polls 2 weeks out didn't predict the outcome?
Not that I'm aware. I mean, there's obviously the Truman,
right, okay.
back then. But since then, right, I mean, it's pretty rare after
Bush
that.
score.
I mean,
Right.
the score was still
score.
close, right? But other than that, you know, usually by the time you get there on average, yeah, you're pretty close. As we get closer and closer, I agree, we're going to be much more confident in those results. But right now, this is a pretty wide lead.
So, Emily, you're hearing people say, well, a lot of the voters in question here haven't voted before. It's hard to predict their behavior. This is an anomaly, this election. Is that a fair analysis?
It's possible. We definitely see some soft support for Donald Trump, and we do see the shy Trump voter as well in polls. And what I mean by that is that some people are a little bit reluctant to admit that they're voting for Donald Trump in the polls, and so it might actually be underestimating his support. That's the only thing that I would say that might be, you know, working in Donald Trump's favor, but probably not, because if you take a bunch of polls, average them together over the course of a week, Hillary Clinton is still in the lead. But there is some good news for Donald Trump that I think is worth bringing into this conversation, which is political scientists have forecasting models where they try to predict the outcome of the election on the basis of the economic fundamentals of the economy, like economic growth and things like that. When they run those models, guess who wins? They find a Republican winning in November. But we're not seeing that materialize in the polls yet. So what that, I think, means is that this is Donald Trump's election to lose.
I agree with that.
It's not materializing yet.
Yeah, interesting. And the reverse Bradley effect, so-called, the idea that it's so embarrassing to say you support Trump that you're going to do it anyway but not tell anyone. How real is that, and is it measurable?
Well, it's really difficult to say. It's really difficult to measure. It could be there. We're not quite sure. Probably people that are shy Trump supporters just won't show up on the election day. And I want to add to what Emily was saying. Yeah, we're on the record, even I'm on the record, saying in August last year, this should be a Republican year. It's really his to lose. But what's going on? We have a database of about 600 elections around the world, and 85% of elections are slam dunks. We know what's going to happen. 15% we call them disruptive elections. And that's when sort of an outsider candidate comes in, an anti-establishment candidate comes in. Usually the public opinion is surly and angry. And that's what we have. That's the scenario we have. The question is he just a spoiler or a game changer? So far, the polls are suggesting he's underperforming versus what he should be doing.
Right. Is this Brexit or the Romney election?
Exactly.
This is the question. All right. Thanks a lot. That was super interesting. Thanks for getting
Thanks.
Tell us about that.